Hello my loves, it's Abby and welcome back. Today, as you might be able to tell, I've got quite a mission today. I have been living without a full-size bookcase for honestly years. I don't think I've had a full-size bookcase since I was still living at home, and that was over 10 years ago. But it's gotten to the point where my half-size Billy, my TBR shelf, is overflowing, and I just thought I really want to go through the books that I own from ages ago that I literally haven't looked through. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I just really wanted to have somewhere to house them. So in this little corner used to literally just be like a chair to dump stuff on, and then a shelf like higher up on the wall, but it was only one shelf, and it basically just has loads of like kind of memory stuff and trinkets and decor stuff on. But I just thought, you know what, let's take it down, let's fill this space. This alcove is kind of the perfect size for a Billy bookshelf at the moment. I do have more plans for this room when it can all get redone. But yeah, today I'm going to be doing a big organisation. I actually have no idea how I want to order my books on the shelves. I used to be so adamant about having everything purely alphabetical by authors' surnames, but I think what I'm gonna end up doing is having some stuff maybe split by genre, even if it's just split, so maybe the top half is more like sci-fi fantasy and then the bottom half general and literary fiction and maybe some of my non-fiction books in there. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of see how it goes. The first thing I need to do, I don't know, I can't remember how far up you can actually see on this. The top half of the shelves, I put them in at the wrong height, so I'm gonna have to do that. And then I need to go through all of these bags of books. I've literally got 3 bags for life full of books, and then this box as well that I need to organise through and figure out what I'm actually definitely keeping, because I feel like my reading tastes and what I want to actually keep hold of has changed quite a lot, because a lot of these are from about 10 years ago when I was reading a lot before starting uni. So we will see what's actually in here. I think that's going to be really exciting. And while I organise as well, I'm going to be listening to my audiobook. This is one that I actually let my friend go on my Audible account and use a credit for this, because I think she was partway through it on Spotify, or she was going to get it on her library app. I can't remember which one. She basically got like locked out of everything. But I wanted to read it anyway, so I was like, you know what, just use my app. But we're gonna listen to I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I'm about 2 hours in. It's 6.5 hours just about, which is obviously super short, but it is a non-fiction. It's told in each chapter is just like a little story from her life about her relationship with her mother and acting. So I'm still in the before stage of before her mum passes away, but I'm gonna get my headphones out, we're gonna listen to that, and I'm gonna start going through a load of books and finish my coffee. My audiobook just kept playing then. Okay, so I've gone through all the bags and the box. I actually have quite a lot to just get rid of. I'm not going to go through every single one. Let me put this down. Some of them are going to be quite obvious, but some of them are more just kind of on vibes. So I used to love the Night Vale podcast, but it got to a certain point and I stopped listening to it, and then I feel like because of how many episodes there are, if you don't keep up with it, that's just it. I just feel like someone else will appreciate these a lot more than me because they're very cool copies. Oh, that one doesn't have gun edges. I just feel like they should go to someone that will enjoy them more. Then I'm getting rid of this really beautiful edition of His Dark Materials. It's all 3 volumes in one, and I picked this one up in particular because it's really pretty, and because it's one book but with 3 books in it, I think it worked out a bit cheaper. But I just didn't really love these. There was something about it that I just didn't really get on with. So again, I feel like that could go to a better home. And then pretty much the rest of these, I just don't feel the need to hold on to. I'll just hold them up in kind of like little stacks. Some Neil Gaiman stuff. I found Good Omens really hard to get through, and then everything that's come out about Neil Gaiman, obviously I just don't really feel like I want them on my shelf anymore. I swear I had the, what's it called? The Ocean at the End of the Lane, but I didn't find that copy. In with all this, so God knows what's happened there. A load of stuff here. Autumn by Ali Smith, I have 2 copies of because I got a bundle of all 4 in a charity shop, even though I already had the first one. That can go. I'm getting rid of the one that the spine is a bit sun-bleached. Animal Farm and Frankenstein, I also have multiple copies of. Now this one, this Animal Farm cover one, is so cool. I genuinely think it's one of the coolest covers. But this is from when my friend worked on an installation for the Manchester International Festival back in 2021, and it was for the Big Ben laying down, and it was loads of books in, I mean, they were in plastic, but all the walls of everything were made of different copies of books and they all were stamped inside. She gifted me a few from that. Yeah, I just don't need multiple copies of it. Super cool. I love the white and the pink. I think it's pretty sick. And then these 2 I feel a bit weird about because they are stunning covers, and I really enjoyed the binding. I didn't really like the betrayals as much, which is a shame because the cover and the colours on it are incredible. But also I've heard since that the author is a bit of a transphobe, so I probably won't reread them, so there's no point in me keeping hold of them really. And then these 2 are like childhood books that I'm not entirely sure what to do with. We've got Tom's Secret Garden. I don't know if I'll ever really need this. And then The Little White Horse. I used to be obsessed with like horse and like unicorn stories, and this one is about a unicorn. Maybe I'll keep this one because I might reread this, but I don't think that I'll keep that one. And then I've got some that I wasn't too sure whether I might keep a hold of them or not, so we'll just go through those quickly. So I've got 2 copies of this. I'm obviously going to keep it. I don't know whether to keep both or just one, but I forgot and completely didn't realise that I had the hardback still. But my friend for Christmas, not the year just gone, I think the year before, got me the paperback, and they're both really lovely. I think they both have, yeah, the same illustrations and stuff in. This is very cool though, so I think I'm going to keep them both for now, depending on what actually fits on my shelves. This is so cool. I think V. Schwab does kind of ghostly stories very well. We'll see about those. I have so much V. Schwab here. It was very exciting to finally get it all out. The Milkman, I just don't think that I'll read this again, to be honest. So I'm going to get rid of that. This was such a relic. I feel like I might have to keep this for now, but not on my shelf with my books. I used to be obsessed, like back in the Tumblr days, with Supernatural, so I might keep a hold of this. It's Bobby's Guide to Hunting, which is really cool. So yeah, I am going to keep hold of that. I also have a big stack of, I say a big stack, it's just like a stack. This one here behind me of YA books, and I have a duplicate of The Fault in Our Stars. It's whether I keep the paperback or the hardback, or if I just get rid of them both. And then Turtles All the Way Down. Again, I just don't know what I'm going to keep from this. Used to love you, John Green, but I only want to keep stuff that I will either go back to or that I have like more of a stronger connection with. These ones, so I love Sally Rooney, but I did not love this one, which is such a shame because I pre-ordered it. But I just don't think that I'm going to reread this. Again, I think someone else will enjoy this more. As much as I kind of want to keep hold of all the Sally Rooneys, I just don't see the point in keeping books that I'm not going to go back to or that I didn't love. And then this one feels a bit sad because I didn't love it, but I got it from Shakespeare and Company. So it's got the stamp in. So I feel like maybe if I've got space, I'll keep it, but I'm not too sure if I will. So I think that's going to stay in a separate pile for now. Same with this. I don't know whether I'm actually going to keep a hold of this or not. Me and my friend read this as part of our little book club, and I think we all enjoyed the first one a lot more. The next one after this haven't been as good. So again, I think it just depends if I've got space. And then I have arranged the stacks kind of in fantasy, sci-fi kind of stuff, and then other. So I've got some general fiction. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to keep all of it. I kind of picked out the stuff that I knew I was definitely going to get rid of, but here we are. Now it's time to start actually putting things on the shelves, and I'm scared it's not all going to fit, but fingers crossed. I've only listened to about 20 minutes, but still going strong with this. Just got to the point where she's started on iCarly, so it's interesting to get to the point where I remember watching the show when I was growing up, so to hear how it was for her, I'm really interested to listen to more, and then obviously everything that's happened after that. So yeah, let's crack on and try and organise these shelves. I think I might have to keep the bottom shelf potentially for... Maybe I'll put hardback TBR books on there, because my TBR shelf is literally exploiting. But we'll see. So I can put some more that I haven't read yet on the bottom now.
Yeah, cool.
But there's even still space in these bits. I thought I had way more. I haven't been checking any of that. Look, come in here. We're going to have another pause here. I have got all of the books on the shelf, and there is still space. Like, there's so much space on here. There's space on this one. There's space on the one above. There's space on the top one. I've even got a book facing outwards, so there's space there. And then the entire bottom shelf is also free, which is amazing. I really wasn't expecting that, but I've actually gotten rid of a lot more than what I was expecting to. So now I think what I am going to do is put a load of TBR books on here. Maybe I'll put the ones that... I don't know whether to do it. What are you doing? Milk's on the radiator. Oh, she's on the windowsill now. Okay. I don't know. I still have to like figure out whether I actually like the position of all of these, and I'll go through that at the end. But I don't know whether to put at the bottom priority TBR on this one and then keep the other shelf for extra stuff, or to do it like all hardbacks or just, you know, a random selection. So I need to go through what's on the TBR shelf now and pick out some stuff to put on. But it's so exciting having a full bookshelf and actually having books on it. It feels amazing. It makes me so happy. Like, how nice to actually see all these books that I've read and enjoyed on the shelf, even if they're from years ago. Like the Louise O'Neill books, I remember those being such important reads at the time. It was almost like Handmaid's Tale, but what you should be reading at that sort of age. And that was big within my friendship group at the time. And again, my John Green, I decided to only keep the two that I kind of actually care about, which is Looking for Alaska and The Fault in Our Stars. And I've chosen the paperback for The Fault in Our Stars purely because I don't want the bulk of the hardback, and then they match a little bit better, even though this is obviously the like old cover of Looking for Alaska. It's not what's the newer one? It's that like black with the flower on or something. It's kind of crazy that I feel like this cover does not convey what the story is about at all, but it's just made me so excited to actually go back to some of these. This is pretty much all YA apart from this one Christmas Sarah Morgan book, and I just put it there because I feel like it fits in better with the colourful YA covers rather than the actual fiction, like literary fiction, just because it's a bit of a different vibe. All of the romance that I've read has been on ebooks, so that's not physically on the shelf. If there's any that I really do love, then maybe I'll get them physically, but I don't really mind too much. Like I've got, it's further up with the sci-fi stuff, but I've got The Martian by Andy Weir. On my TBR shelf I've got Artemis, but I don't physically own Project Hail Mary, and I don't feel like I'm too fussed about owning it physically, purely because the audiobook was so good. But it's so nice to have space to expand, and it's nice to know that everything actually fits on the shelves that I've got. But yeah, I need to do this, so we're going to do that now, and I'm going to keep listening to my audiobook. Milk's trying to eat everything. Hey, I feel like she thinks the microphone is a little version of her. Look at her trying to get it. Silly girl. Let's review the shelf situation. I think I'm done for now until I start putting some little decorations and trinkets and bits and bobs from the shelves back on. But the thing is, I don't want to have it too cluttered, so I'm going to try keep it really minimal. Literally for now, all I've got on is the little Marie toy down at the bottom, and then I've got this old Medusa candle, which I think is literally just from TK Maxx, but it's such a cool, what do you call it, a jar? It's such a cool pot that I decided to keep it. It's still got some wax in the bottom. I do need to actually finish the last little bit and then clear it out, because then maybe I can use it for my bookmarks. Maybe I'll put stuff like that on it. At the moment my bookmarks are in this mug, but you know, who knows what I'll do with that. I need to clear out a little bit of these anyway, because they're just old, like random ones that I don't really need anymore. You remember when everyone, oh, that says Well Read Panda. I thought that was going to have the book depository on the other side, but I've got loads of book depository ones. Milk has been trying to eat the ribbons on every single book here. This is the situation. Hopefully this was kind of interesting. I'm not going to go through every single book on the shelves, but I've got some of my original Mortal Instruments books. I've got loads of V.E. Schwab, The Hunger Games. I've got some Leigh Bardugo. My Fourth Wing, I do want to get the next two in hardback as well. This one I just got off Vinted, I think. And then I do have 2 copies of, let me stand over this side, of The Night Circus, because that is my favourite book in the world. So I've got my paperback that I originally read that I don't think I'll ever get rid of. And then this I found in a charity shop, so it's a little bit battered at the top and it's a little bit faded and water stained, but I don't really care. But it is the same cover as what's on the paperback, so maybe if I can get like a nice special edition or something, or a different cover hardback, I'll swap that out. But I think it's nice to have a beautiful one, a lovely hardback of my favourite book. But yeah, it kind of goes fantasy, more kind of mythological fantasy stuff is kind of how I've arranged it. A little tiny section of sci-fi. I actually thought I had more sci-fi books, but I don't, so I'm gonna sort that out. And then, as you could see on the shelves lower down, let me just move this down a little bit actually. So on these shelves lower down, we've got more kind of horror weird girl books. This I've put in my kind of little horror weird section because the fact that these things happen so regularly is horrific. And then it kind of goes into general fiction, and then I've got YA, and then this is kind of like non-fiction. I've got poetry. I think Oranges Are the Only Fruit is fictionalized, but it's based on Jeanette Winterson's own life, so I've put that here because I also have this other little Jeanette Winterson. And the same with Jen Campbell, because these are short stories, it just felt the right vibe to put those here. These were up here because I was looking through them for some reference because I'm doing a little 60s thing this month, and I just thought because they are also non-fiction, they're reference books for hair, and then this one's hair and makeup, I thought they'd fit in there. And then the bottom shelf, as I showed, is more TBR, so that means I now need to reorganize the actual TBR shelf, but I think that's it. Milky, do you want to say goodbye? That's my shelf. She just wants this. Hopefully all of this has been in focus. I have been moving around this gigantic camera on a very wonky tripod just because I needed some of the lower angles earlier on, so we'll see how this looks. But thanks so much for joining, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.